So tell me a little bit more about your background, just real quick.
Okay, my name is Sean, that was already said. I am a sophomore music major. Been playing piano for, I think, 12 or 13 years. I actually just don't know. I don't know what else to say besides that.
Okay, where are you music major?
I don't want to exactly say.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We'll keep that anonymous.
Yeah.
All righty. No
That's
problem.
fine. That's fine.
No problem at all. Okay. Then without further ado, I think we all want to hear you play, and then we'll talk.
All right.
Wow, bravo. Thank you so much for sharing with us. I was not able to hear just a couple of measures because of the sound difficulty, but most of it I got. So that's actually, that's awesome. I want to commend you for your kind of very clear expressiveness and emotional investment in the piece. I think I can tell from your playing that you really care about this music, and that that the piece is important to you and that it means a great deal. I think, well, I have some things to say, obviously, and that's what we're here for. But I want to be saying that on the backdrop of, I think you've obviously done a lot of great work with this already. So now we're just putting some icing on the cake. So I think you're right, and these are the kinds of details that are hard to hear in the first page, for example. Just how much pedaling to use. Of course, that kind of thing would sound a lot more clear on a real piano. But just make sure that you're not over pedaling this first section here. And I have not played this piece really, but if you could just open up your score okay. right at the very beginning. This is all really just pad. If you think about it as kind of orchestral padding rather than real notes, and you can do it. Just make sure you don't catch these dirty notes in your pedal. All of this stuff though has to be crystal clear, and the left hand has to be really a whole different idea. The stuff in the left hand is kind of murky. The stuff in the right hand is probably some kind of, what kind of instrument is playing that if you were to orchestrate it?
I assume brass.
Yeah, exactly. Not piano, right? Yeah, so we have to sound as grassy as possible. I would say in general, what I'm getting from your playing is maybe a little bit of hesitancy in going across. And I'd like to hear more kind of a longer idea, longer line. So even in the beginning. That's what it is, right? That's the whole idea from beginning to end. Even if you take a little bit of pause when you go. So can you go play that section, but go through it so that we can get to the downbeat at 7?
Measure 3?
Yeah, take it from the beginning.
Okay. I turned down just a little bit. That might help the audio issues a little bit.
Okay,
too,
sure.
Just to let you know.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So did you hear how it sounded? It's probably because of the jump, but it would be great if you could somehow convince us that it sounds. So there's a way to do it, probably by maybe catching the F a little bit earlier. And again, I don't play this, so it's it's funny for me to demonstrate. But if I'm thinking just intuitively, probably you can catch that F almost before the downbeat. Right, and then you will play it in time. Can you try that a little bit slower, maybe 70% tempo? Right, because the idea is that it goes across. Right? So we want to hear that. And the stretch is nice. The stretch, I think, comes from before and not after. So if you go, then we're like, oh, what's going on? But if you go, then we feel like we're moving somewhere, moving forward. Want to try that section again? Yeah. Keep going.
Starting at measure 4 or where?
Start from the top, keep going.
Okay.
Yeah, can you stop right there? So that's what I'm after, is getting these parts connected, and this might help you if you practice a little bit a little bit differently than what you might have been doing. I wonder if you've been practicing kind of on the downbeat a lot and not thinking about practicing maybe say from the beat over to the next beat and then going. You see what I'm doing? I'm going across every time.
Mm-hmm.
And that will solve that problem if you practice. Would you like to try maybe running that slowly a couple of times through, see if it changes anything? Yeah, so I think the issue there is so I would practice just the right hand. And just remembering where that sits, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Okay, good. Because we have so little time, I'd like to keep going. You know what I mean? Is it okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Just, put that feather in your hat and we'll keep doing it. Can you go from 13? I think that's the next thing. Yeah, so for all of that, the most important thing about this kind of music to make it sound really convincing is actually the transitions. Once you get the basic kind of technical difficulties out of the way, then it becomes about how do you connect the characters and the sections together. So I wasn't entirely convinced by this. I'd like to be more surprised about the fact that it goes, right? Instead of, I really heard that as a new section in a way that sounded like you closed the chapter on the one before, but that's the transition bar. So I'd like to hear going again across. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. And it's hard to do that piano subito like that without actually physically stopping your body, but that's one thing that you have to learn when you get to be more advanced, right? Yeah. So you have to practice that. Would you like to try from 13 again?
Sure. I think
yeah, do you see what I mean? Do you see what I mean? It could be a fingering thing. What fingers are you using there?
Let's see, I have 3, 2 on the E to D sharp, and then switching to 1 to start, I think. Yeah, to start the next bar.
Yeah, I think you just need to be making it smoother. Can you play just the right hand? Yeah, sorry, I played the wrong rhythm. Right, of course. So I think there's a way to move your hand across. Have you tried a funny fingering like 1, 2, 4, 5?
No. Okay.
So check out my hand right now. It's pretty. It works pretty well, I think. And then you're right there. If you go down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, up, down, something like that. You have to figure out the choreography of it a little more probably, but I'm thinking down and up. I'm using this as a across and over and up. Yeah, it maybe feels more risky to you, but it could actually work better. Sorry. I would experiment a little bit. If not, then you could do 1, 4, 1, 5.
That's what I'm doing now.
Okay. Then you just have to make sure that's really connected. Legato.
Okay.
Yeah, you may not need to change that, but just make it smoother. Like as if you were playing it with either one gesture or 2 hands. It needs to sound like that's easy for you. You know what I mean? It can't sound like like I can hear the thumb. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay, cool. let's move on from, can you go from the secco part?
Yep. Oh, wait. I lost track of myself. Oh.
Okay, can you play, yeah, just stop for a second. Can you play just the right hand for me for now? Forget the left hand. Again, okay, so again, the trick here is to make it sound like more like this, like as if you're playing it. Like there is no difficulty in moving your hand, if that makes any sense. I'm cheating because I'm using both hands, but I want you to get the sound. I want you to get the sound that we're looking for, and then the idea is to go to figure out how to do that really efficiently. So even I would have to practice that, but probably going one ta-dum, ba-dee-dee, ba-dum, ba-dum. Practicing usually to the thumb is a good idea. So practice before the bar line. Don't practice on the downbeat. You know, go here, now to here, now to there, to here. Now go to there, go to here, go to here, go to here, go to here. Yeah, that's harrowing. But if you practice it enough across the bar line, you'll get really good at jumping there quickly. Because what we really want to hear is that line be uninterrupted. Yeah, sorry for the reading, but so can you try that a little slower and think across the bar line at least now?
One sec. I'm going to pin your video so I can actually see you a little bit.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Oh, it's just I'm sharing the screen, that's why. If I
okay.
just
Yeah,
do
yeah.
that. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so the idea was to go across. And it's usually some kind of down, up, and across.
What do you want me to do then? Sorry.
Yeah, just go a little slower. Yeah, and also if you use that section, if you think a little bit more about economy of motion in your body as well, you're using a lot of torso kind of throughout. It's interesting if you look back at this, because it's being recorded. If you look at your performance, you'll be able to see your torso moving a lot. It's a physical piece, no question. But some of these Russian guys, they sit there, you know, and they're like a rock on their piano bench, and they're just kind of like this, and then their hands are going like crazy, you know, but they're entirely grounded into their bench. And I know you're not sitting at a real piano and et cetera, but I think you need a little bit more grounding and a little bit more freedom of your upper body. That's not, because actually creating too much movement will make it more difficult to play cleanly and efficiently, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. So it has to be an internal emotion that you're feeling, that you're externalizing in the piano, but it can't come out too much like your torso moving around. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And that will also improve the quality of the softness. If it's piano secco, right? And you really want it to, if you want that to be soft, you're going to need to be a little closer to the keys. All of this stuff needs to be economical. And I'm not talking about being tense, but I'm talking about using as little motion as you can get away with. Mm-hmm. All right. Can you try a little bit less motion, a little bit softer, and think across the bar? Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, but you're understanding where I'm getting to, right, with that.
Right.
So that, I think, anytime you have these kind of disparate sections where it's like it always goes tidum, not right. So we want to connect it. Okay, let's go on to the next section here, this transitional section.
Okay. Ah.
Yeah. So can you make those two things very different? I'd love to hear kind of inside of the notes. I'm going to play it slower because you know I haven't practiced it. Sorry. I want to hear ba 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 ba, but I also want to hear ba da ba da ba da ba da. I want to hear shaping in both hands, like very polyphonic, almost Bach-like.
Okay.
Because then when you get to this, that can become totally different. Do you see what I mean? If you play this, continue to play secco like he wrote before, I don't see a reason why this would be any different. I don't believe in pedaling this section necessarily going. It gets to be a mess. What if you just play it, take your right foot off and go. Whatever it is, and then pedal right there, you know? That section, pedal that as a harmony. Change and to the downbeat. And again. And now again. You see what I mean? Then we get two contrasting ideas. We get bottom, 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 wa 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 bottom, 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 dum bottom, da 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 yum bottom, dum bottom, wum bottom, If you kind of sing through a piece like sort of rudimentarily, sometimes it gives you a lot of information. Like this seems ridiculous that I'm doing this, right? But and I'm not singing it on pitch or anything, but it's just the gesture. It's just like da 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 ba 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 da ba da doody da 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 doody da 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 yum ba da doody da 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 dee da 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 yum ba da yum ba da yum ba da ba 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 da da. All right, try to see if you can like sing through the piece that way. Then all of a sudden you're gonna be like, oh, that needs to sound like more aggressive, or this has more direction to it. Okay, cool. Let's try some of those ideas right there from the pianissimo.
Okay.
Yeah, so the cool thing about this whole section is that he's increasing the length and sort of messing with the entrance of that little slurred line. And you really can't hesitate too much on it. I know it's a bear to play, but what if you grouped it, whatever fingering you're using, you need to figure out a way to group it together. Whatever it is. So let me do one hand. Probably something like that, or at least two sections that you can divide it into that way, and then you combine those as into one gesture, so that it to the ear it sounds like boom. It has to continue to move through the bar. Makes sense? Because right now I'm hearing kind of triplets like da 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 ti da 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 ti da 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 yum or something like that, or wherever your thumb is moving. I hear some kind of shift in that's stopping the motion from continuing. Would you mind starting? I think it's 38 right there. Yeah, can you just do that section kind of slower? And can you stop, say, on the beat 2? And on beat 4? and then get to the downbeat.
Okay.
Yeah, and I would practice all of those by shifting that around. How about going? And always shaping it different ways. Try it. Yeah, now try that faster so that you can go something like that.
Why can't I start this?
Yeah, it messes with you, doesn't it? But okay,
Yeah.
so I'm sight reading this. Okay, but so you can do it because you know the piece, but you just not looked at it. You just not looked at it like this. You need to start thinking in chunks. It's funny. My last master class was, you know, with somebody very young, but I also talked about this in a different way. But I think teaching your body how to move through a phrase in a way that's natural, grouping it by more than just the rhythmic unit, grouping it by more what it feels like, either as a musical unit or as a bodily unit, if that makes sense. If you can get a passage, if it's, you know, a million notes and they go like that, you want it to feel like 1, 2, not a million notes. You know, you don't want that. So in here, you don't want, although that kind of digital precision helps, but I think it probably goes. In the right hand, I kind of hear 3 things as they all go up. And now to. Sorry. Makes sense? Yeah, so divide it up. And then when you get to the last one, that's the ultimate one. That one's super long, so you have to figure out some impulses. So there you have groups that are harmonic. Right? So that's how I would divide those up, even in slow practice. Yeah, I'm not going to do it, but. Can you do it like that with both hands? So then you get kind of 4 things. Try it again. Yeah, and that left hand also needs more shape. So it's got chromatic going up, chromatic going up. Yeah, so I need to hear more of that. Always going across the bar line, you notice. Try that. Yeah, and some of this can be practiced kind of like 70% tempo, and then you can group them kind of. See what I mean? Kind of always going across the bar line, but doing it short bursts, and then combining those into 2, so you get. Something like that. And then eventually it feels like, oh, that's just going to be 3 things I'm tying together instead of 7 million notes. All right, let's move on to the moderato section.
Just wanted to keep track on time. We're
How
a
are we
little
doing?
bit 5 minutes over. But,
Oh, wow,
we
already?
can,
Okay.
yeah. So you can work on, you know, one more section and then maybe call it. Yeah.
All right, sure.
Yeah.
Then you know what? Let's talk about. Where do we? I mean, because actually, let me just summarize a few ideas for you too. All of these ideas we're talking about, actually, you can apply to the whole piece. Differentiating the articulation so that we have clearly non-legato sections followed by legato sections very clearly. Always playing across the bar line so that all of the musical gestures move in the direction that the phrases show. Ba-dam, ba-dam, ba-da. Na, da-dam, da-da, yeah. You don't ever want to break any of those units. Making transitions very very logical and not too obvious, making things tie together more organically. And that has to do with, again, thinking about the bar, thinking about the flow of the rhythm. Practicing passage work that's tricky by doing it in chunks that you combine. All these things we've covered, and I think that'll help you through the whole piece. Let's go maybe now. Well, actually, what would you like to touch on before we finish? Because it's your class.
I don't know. I don't have any particular spot, so.
Okay. Then in that case, I just wanted to point your attention to, where was this? Oh yeah, this section right at, actually kind of right where we were. This section, right? That needs to sound a little bit more orchestral. Like these two things are different. Here's a voice, a different voice, whatever. Right? This sounds almost like Petrushka. Right? And so that needs to be really texturally, you need to figure out what's important. And sing a little bit more across the bar line. Go to here, now go to there, now go to here, and now go to there. And this whole section I wasn't necessarily convinced by, because you took a lot of time in places, but it's a long descent. You've got all this stuff. And I think the rinse really happens in these last two bars. Try playing just the harmony sometime. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah, just reduce it down to something more primordial, like just how the harmony moves, and then phrase it in a longer unit. Basically, you need longer units, and some of that has to do with maybe technical limitations right now, because it's hard. I mean, you have a lot of jumping around, so you just have to get really comfortable at skipping around, but also just listening more for the long line. As the last piece of advice, I liked your ending, but I think we need to feel more shock. That the way that you judge the energy from the poco più mosso at the very end, it has to be crazed but still in control. Like you have so much, you're so awesome that you will make us feel like like the world will spin out of control, but you've got it together because you've got the power. So even that crescendo before it goes subito, I really want to hear. I want to hear something that surprises me, but it doesn't change the rhythm. So can you maybe sing it in longer lines? Tam ta ta tam ta tam ta ta tam ta pa ta 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 ta. Now you change the orchestration, but it doesn't change tempo in any way. It's just like you're conducting it 1, 2, 3, 4, and there come the flutes, there come the bassoons, bam, and it's all in control. And then when you get to here, it just goes nuts, right? Whatever it is there, right? It's just the chromatic descent, but it has to keep on going. You can't stop the energy. If you stop the energy, you're dead in the water. So probably a slightly slower tempo than what you think you can play. Like take 90% and control it, and make us feel like we want to hear it faster or whatever. But we feel satisfied with the idea of control. Speed is not always about speed. It's sometimes about control. So that's my last piece of advice to you. And then shock me with this last chord. Have you thought about the connection? Right. It's just the Polonaise basically. Sorry, it's the 3 chord to the 1 chord. So it's the same idea as the Polonaise. It's just the 3 chord to the 5 chord to the 1 chord. So here it's not super shocking, but it can sound more shocking. Probably make me believe that this is the ending. Right, and then all of a sudden it's not. So I hear a cadence here. 4, 5, 1. Wait. Oh crap. And I wouldn't take time there. If you're gonna take time at the rest, right at the cadence, the real cadence. Just a touch. And then the D flat is a big surprise. It's not supposed to be there. Can you try just the ending for fun? Let's go from this. And there you want to summon all the power that you have. Pedal deep down, torso in. You're gonna be just Gilels in this moment. Forward, forward. Forward, forward, forward. Almost like you're going through the piano in those chords. Up, up.
All right.
That's all the time we have, I think.
Thank you so much.
All right, you're so welcome.
Amazing.
All right, Sean, I just want to say I had so much fun. Sean and Tom, I had so much fun watching this class. I think you guys had a great chemistry going, and Sean, this is about as good as I've heard people play on a keyboard. Like that's really like I didn't know
doing
that.
something exceptional.
Yeah,
here,
I don't think I've
definitely.
ever heard someone play a Prokofiev sonata, not as a joke, but an actual performance, and played it so well. And also, second of all, thank you for signing up for the master class and telling your friends about it. Your friends and your fans are going crazy in the chat, and I was reading it. And Tom, you can read the during the replay. You can watch.
Yeah, I'd love
It's
to
crazy.
see what's going on there. Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
No,
scared
people
now,
people love you guys. People love you
Okay,
guys.
awesome.
And yeah, thank you guys in the chat. Some of you asked for an extension of this class to unfortunately we can't extend it to 10 hours, but but that was one of the requests. I just wanted I wanted to acknowledge that. I had so much
awesome.
fun. And I hope you guys continue to spread the words for us. This is a new venture. I had fun learning. I learned a lot, doing these classes. I hope you guys did too. And just really, I need your help, spreading the words. So again, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah.
Have a great evening, Sean.
Thank you. See you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
All right. All right. That was so fun. Yeah, we're still on.
We're still on. Okay.
Yes. That was just closing now, right?
Okay, perfect.
What did you think? You any last words for our audience?
Go through the bar line.
Go through the bar line. All right. Cool. All right. Well, with that, I guess this concludes our masterclass. As I've said, we need help spreading the words. We have some great performance opportunities. I always want to tell my friends and people who, that want to learn more about our class. This is not just about taking a lesson. I think playing for a master class is also about just having a performing opportunity. You get to play for the teacher, a great teacher. You get a really professional perspective, and then you also get to play for the audience. So I think this is a great chance for people to grab. Right? You agree, Tom?
Absolutely.
You up for it?
I'm up for it.
All right, cool.
Everybody listen to Piano League.
Yes, great. All right. So with that, the usual, if you want to learn more about, Tom, go to his website. It's just his full name.com, right? Tomasz, Robak.com. And if you want to learn about our classes, go to thepianoleague.com. There's a because we couldn't get the pianoleague.com domain. So we'll work on that. And check out our showcase. Deadline is tonight. 7 to 12-year-old, one piece repertoire. And subscribe to our YouTube channel. Obviously, we have awesome content. It's not just masterclasses. We have all kinds of content. So with that, we finished today's episode. Everyone, happy Friday night. Happy practicing. And we'll see you next time. All right? All right.